Okay, this is Module 11 Skill Builder number 3, and it says any non-zero number n raised to a negative power is equal to 1 over n raised to the positive power, or to the opposite power. Also, any non-zero number n that's raised to the power of 0 is 1. 0 to the 0 power is undefined. Okay, so let's go through some examples that kind of show us what we're talking about. So 3 to the negative 1 power is the same as 1 over 3 to the first power, which is 1/3. Okay? 6 to the negative 2 power is the same as 1 over 6 to the second power, which is 1/36. Here, this one's a little, I actually need to make a correction. That should be in parentheses because of the way I wrote it over here. So negative 4 to the negative third power is the same as 1 over negative 4 to the third power. Okay? If I leave this, that's a little bit different. That would be like saying evaluate 4 to the negative third and then put a negative on it. Okay, which is a little bit different based on your order of operations. Okay, down here you've got in parentheses negative 1/4 to the 0 power, which is 1. If you had this to the 0 power without the parentheses, that would be 1/4 to the 0 power, which is 1, and then the negative of that, which is negative 1. Okay, so just be careful. Okay. Negative 1/4 to the negative second power. You're basically doing 1 over. Well, 1 over 1/4 is, you're dividing by 1/4, which is the same as multiplying by 4. So basically you're going to take your fraction and flip it and change your exponent to something positive. Okay, so this is negative 1/4 to the negative second power, which becomes negative 4 to the second power. Negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. Again, here you have it raised to the negative 2. So I take this, I'm going to put it 1 over 3/4, but 1 over 3/4 is the same as just taking that and flipping it. So you wind up with 4/3 to the second power. That exponent 2 applies to both the 4 and the 3. So 4 squared over 3 squared. And you wind up with 16 over 9. Okay, 2/5 to the negative third power. First of all, it would be like 1 over 2/5, but that's the same as just taking that fraction and flipping it. So now you have 5/2 to the third power. That 3 is going to apply to both the numerator and the denominator, so 5 to the third divided by 2 to the third, and you wind up with 125 over 8. Okay, this one's interesting because it is both a negative power and a fraction power. So let's deal with the negative first. If you want to get rid of the negative power, it's 1 over that same thing to the positive power, so 1 over 25 to the 1/2. But remember from a skill builder or whatever ago, 25 to the 1/2 power is really telling you take the square root of 25. So really you have 1 over the square root of 25, which is, the square root of 25 is 5, so you have 1/5. And right now we're just assuming that all of the roots are positive. Technically a square root could be 5 or negative 5, but let's just assume right now they're positive. Okay, so there you go. There's a couple of examples, and we're going to do some down here as additional practice. Non-zero number raised to the 0 power is going to be 1. So 2.8 to the 0 power is just 1. Something raised to a negative power, flip it. Okay, so this becomes 5 over 3 raised to the second power. That exponent applies to both the numerator and denominator, so really you have 5 squared over 3 squared, which is 25 over 9. 3 to the negative 3 power is the same as 1 over 3 to the third power, which means 1 over 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. Okay, careful here because of the way it's written. This says take the negative of whatever 5 to the second negative second power is. So the negative of 5 to the second, or negative second. Okay, so to get rid of that negative exponent, that's really 1 over 5 to the second power, and then take the negative of that. All right, so 1 squared is 1, 5 squared is 25, and the negative of that, you wind up with negative 1/25 as your answer. Here, 1/3 to the negative 2 power. Flipping this gives you a fraction of 3 over 1, which is just 3. So 3 to the second power, which is 9. X to the negative second power is 1 over x squared. 1 over m to the negative third power. Remember to get rid of the negative part of the exponent, flip it. So that's m over 1, which we'll just write as m. So that's m to the third. Okay, this next column. 6 over 7 to the negative first power. To get rid of the negative part of the exponent, flip the fraction. So this is now 7 over 6. Each one of them is to the first power, which just remains 7 over 6. 2 to the negative fifth power is the same as 1 over 2 to the fifth. 2 to the fifth, that's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And when you multiply all that out, you get 1 over 32. Here, we have the negative inside the parentheses. So we're going to say, get rid of this negative part of the exponent by flipping the fraction. So now it's negative 8/3 squared. But negative 8 times negative 8 is a positive 64. 3 times 3 is 9. So there's your final answer. Again, here the negative is inside the parentheses. Let's get rid of the negative part of the exponent by flipping the fraction. So that now becomes 2 over m. And all of that is to the third. Negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 on the top is negative 8. And m times m times m is m to the third. Okay. 2.5 to the negative 1. I'm going to go ahead and just say, you know what? 2.5 is the same as 5 halves. So 5 halves to the negative 1 power. But to get rid of the negative part of the exponent, flip. So that's 2 over 5 to the first power, which is really just 2 over 5. Okay.